Welcome into the Casual Gaming Conversation bonus episode where we are breaking down everything that just happened at the State of Play for June 2025. Nick, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. What a showing from Sony. Not the showing that I think a lot of people wanted, but we talk about all the time, the unknowns. Give us something that we have no idea could ever exist and prove that it is worth our time. And I felt like there was a lot of games that did exactly that. I'm excited to talk about those titles with you. Connor, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm feeling good after that. It's not exactly what I was looking for, but it gave me a lot to be excited about for 2025 and 2026. I don't think Sony shows their cards the same way that they used to, like really far out for really far out games. I think it's missing a one more thing for a Sony first party title, but the Marvel game at the end, man, you can't deny that's going to be a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want to just hop right into this? Score it?
Yeah, overall thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I thought that this was a very good showing. I do think that this showcase, it's summer showcase season. This is not your February State of Play. You know, this
Yeah.
isn't your September. This is, hey, you are directly, in my opinion, competing with a Keighley showcase and an Xbox showcase. That's going to be the talk of the town, right? Whether they want it or not, we are going to be talking about these showcases in reference to each other. And I do take that to say it as a challenge a little bit. Sony, you got to show up. And I think that they showed up just enough to give it a good score. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10 on a scale good. I think that this was a good showcase. And that's coming from someone that on this channel is the fighting game guy. On this channel was watching Maximilian Dude beforehand talking about what if we got an Arc Systems fighting game at an SGF showcase. And for it to be Marvel, I don't think that there are a lot of people that listen to this podcast, that listen to everything that we do here at Cope 64. There's not a ton of fighting game fans. But for the people that are the fighting game fans, this is the biggest announcement that is humanly possible. I genuinely think. Like, I don't know if it gets remotely bigger. I think Marvel vs. Capcom 4, this is basically modern Marvel fighting game, a spiritual sequel, spiritual successor to something like that in a major way. But I also do think that starting out with Luminous is like, oh, that's really cool. There was a lot of, oh, that's really cool. There wasn't a lot of, I'm losing my mind. I think that coming from this showcase, there are 3 games that I'm guaranteed going to play. One of them was a quick moment with Ghost of Yote. I think 007 and this Marvel fighting game, that's what I'm here for. Everything else, I think, was a really solid showing. I need to see more from some of those titles that we're going to hop into. Connor, where are you at with this showcase?
I'm waffling right now. I don't know. I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. I think it was good. I feel like there was just so much to like in there. And there was a few games that came out of nowhere for 2026 that we knew nothing about that now I am excited about, that I almost definitely will play. Romeo is dead.
Romeo is a dead man.
Is a dead man.
What a showing from an unknown.
Neo 3 out of nowhere. Like, these are big games that I mean, big in comparison to small in comparison to like a AAA Sony first party game, but still like something on the level of a Stellar Blade, which had like a moment last year, that now we're getting more of those in 2026 that I'm excited about. So yeah, I think this was really solid. I think it dipped 3/4 of the way through before coming back up at the end with a little bit of Ghost and Astrobot, and then closing out with the Marvel game, the Marvel fighting game. I just think that it was rock solid. I think that this is a great showing, an excellent showing? Absolutely not. It's not even close to that.
Yeah.
I think it's missing a one more thing that is universal.
That's the big issue.
If it ended with like a Wolverine moment, it would be like, okay, this is like essentially perfect.
This in my mind, we're talking about the difference between the 9 out of 10 in 2022 that started with an RE4 and ended with a Final Fantasy 16 and got people out of their seats. This one needed to start with the Marvel fighting game and needed to end with a one more thing.
Or start with Resident Evil 9 and end with the Marvel fighting game. And I think that's like fucking excellent.
But the one more thing moment, and I talk about this all the time in presentation, is the last note in music is always the most important note in the entire song, because it's what you're leaving the concert thinking about, is how amazing that last bite of the meal was. And I think for that, to be clear, I'm trying to rate this a little bit more objectively and talking about it as a whole. But like, when we talk about state of plays and showcases, I want moments that like I'm like, not only am I going to play that, that could be my new obsession. That could be my new favorite game of all time. And we did just get a video game to close out this showcase that truly could be one of those games. And I'm like, this is my favorite game ever. Like I'm not 36 years old. I wasn't at the arcade playing some of these fighting games and everything. I need the modern gameplay experience to hop in, and I love the collections, and we're going to talk about a Mortal Kombat collection that we're going to hop into and have so much fun streaming a couple nights, and then me playing with the community for the people that want to play that. But like I'm not the old fighting game fan, and I'm the just current. I like Smash and I like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Tekken fan, and coming out with a Marvel fighting game for me is like year of dreams type shit. It really is. And so like, is that one announcement, like, does that speak to me more than like even like a Ghost of Yotei? I'm fucking stoked for Ghost of Yotei. I can't wait for that game. I'm stoked on that. But like a Marvel fighting game, come on. Like that's for like, I love Ghost of Tsushima for what I played, but like for me personally, and I am talking about it from me personally, I understand it's not a universal thing, but like, and then 007, talking about that game, we're gonna hop into it, how much that was, seeing that action, and you even bringing up like, dude, it looks like Uncharted. I'm like, do you remember 2018, 2019 on when the question came of what's Naughty Dog going to work on next? Like they got The Last of Us Part 2. What's happening next? People were like, dude, imagine a 007 Naughty Dog game. And then when we realized it was IO making it, it's like, they can make a really cool stealth shooter. Can they bring that action? The intro to that, talking about all the crazy shit that Bond did and like, why does he deserve it? That's why. It's like, come on, dude. Give me that big budget action movie. We just saw Mission Impossible. I want that in a video game again. I want that type of experience. I thought it was a really good showing. My issue is there's the unknowns that were like, this is good. There's nothing that I'm like from the unknowns that I'm like, I'm for sure going to play. Even shout out Romeo is a Dead Man. Great art style. The action looked like there was a bunch of pixels on the screen. It also looked like it was going to burn down whatever system it was on. It looked like there needed to be a little bit more polish from what I saw.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that there was like some struggling in some of those swings and everything. Huh. Then again, we're running it on my non-4K TV right now, and I don't know what the trailer was running at, but yeah, I think that this was a good showing.
There was so much in there that I'm excited about, but let's break it down.
Yeah,
we start with Lumines.
Yeah, you can go. You can take the lead, my friend.
Tee us up. This is a long story series. People who love Lumines. Cool that it's being made by the Tetris Effect people. Like it's a perfect marriage for that studio with Lumines and PSVR 2 and this kind of game, this music puzzle type experience. I think this is awesome. Do I think it's a good way to start the showcase? No. I think you put this in the middle and you get a bigger pop. Like I think that there's other games in here. I think you could start with 007. Yeah.
This is classic stepping on a rake when you don't need to type of presentation. And I think that we talk about all the time of how do you order these things. I understand that there's probably a Sony higher up saying, we got to start out with this one, give it the love it deserves, all that stuff. And it's like, could you imagine if that was the trailer right before the Marvel fighting game one, like where we do get a Sony logo, but it is something special and unique and different. It's like if we could have ended out with that rock block, but also opened up with a big budget moment. I really do think that the 007 showing after IOI announces, hey, we're gonna do this event and everything and talk about it more and all that stuff this Friday is one of like the biggest blunders out there. It's like, could you imagine if we got that trailer without seeing it coming, sort of deal?
Yeah,
would have been mind blowing. And now to go and get it, it still was pretty shocking to be here, but it's like we knew it was coming this weekend, you know. So
do we see it again at SGF?
I think that we're going to see a lot of this game.
Yeah,
I hate to say it. I'm like I want this, but the nice part they said gameplay reveal. I want a mission. Give me Jeff is so good at raw gameplay, putting a dev on stage, talking about their game.
I think we get that at the
IOI event,
showcase thing that they're doing.
Very interesting.
Next up, we have Pragmata, long development game. Obviously, they made a joke about it being 2022, 2023. When did we see this first? We saw this at the PlayStation Future of of Gaming showcase.
June 2020.
Yeah, so 2026 it looks like. I am not sold on this game at all. The only reason I'm even remotely interested in it is because of Capcom. I think the gameplay there looked a little stiff. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm excited this game is finally going to see the light of day.
Yeah,
because I wasn't confident in that.
I think that they're putting a lot of effort into it. Is another reason that I'm like, yeah, they could have. I feel like they could have crapped this one out in the 6 years of dev time that they put into it thus far, you know?
Yeah.
But the fact that they want to give it the love and care to add the extra dev time, add the extra dollars on the front end to hopefully see it recouped on the back end, I'm about it for sure.
Romeo is a Dead Man. Weird ass trailer. Loved it.
Yep.
This might be the game of the showcase for me. I think that this looked amazing. I am really excited to play this. I want more weird, interesting games that blend genres, cool art style, very funny. It got all of us to chuckle a little bit there. I can't wait for this game. And it said next year, right?
I think so.
2026. I assume early. I think they actually said that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm stoked on this. How are you feeling about it?
I want to pull up the trailer just one more time to go and have in the background as we discuss this, because like, holy shit, like,
what the fuck is going on?
What
here?
is happening, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
here, can you skim to the end real fast and see
but like,
if they gave a more concrete release time?
All of us just like immediately were like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Coming 2026.
Okay.
But like for it to go and be this like two-step almost of like, or we got this crazy, almost like Adult Swim type art style into an action-packed, running and gunning, shooting and slicing type video game. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that like got me fired up for the showcase. But this is also the moment that I realized we're not going to be mostly relying on known IP and sequels and stuff like that, which we talk about all the time. We need new IP, great thing. But also, I'm also here to see the next Kingdom Hearts game. I am here to see the next Resident Evil game, you know? So that is just a factor there.
Next up, we had Silent Hill F. The last time we saw this game, I was pretty impressed by how good it looked. Seeing it again here, September, looks great again. I'm stoked for this. I'm so excited that we get to play another Silent Hill game in 2025, coming off of my second favorite game from last year, Silent Hill 2 Remake. But I do not think it's going to be at that level. If it's a small step down, I think we're winning with Silent Hill. You know what I mean?
I think that it's going to be a little bit bigger than a small step down, and that's my fear with it. Where it's like
how do you get that vibe from the trailer though? You know what I mean?
Because for me, the reason that Silent Hill 2 Remake was so impressive and so good was the fact that we had this amazing moment of you're running and gunning, James Sunderland's performance, like just all these pieces came together in such an interesting way. My biggest issue with that game is the combat. And like, I love the world, I'm terrified, all that stuff. And so seeing that it's going to be I made the joke during the trailer, it's going to be a pipe, potentially maybe a knife for a moment, whatever. It's like, cool, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be horror. But I'm not expecting the Silent Hill 2 moment. I'm not expecting a Resident Evil 4 or even like Resident Evil 7 type moment that is a little bit more visceral and intense.
I think this is gonna be more about puzzle solving, walking around, some combat here and there, just being in this really atmospheric environment, and that's what Silent Hill does so well. I like the combat in Silent Hill 2, but I'm not playing Silent Hill 2 for the combat.
True. With that being said, I also do just need to clarify a point for personal. I don't play horror games unless they are the cream of the crop, because I'm a scared boy. You know, like I really do not like the spooks too often. And even watching this back, I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to watch this trailer, because I'm not going to go back to get the nuances of all the scariness. I'm interested. I do think that it could be great. I'm just not banking on a Silent Hill spin-off type title to be that game, you know? So, yeah.
Next up, we have Bloodstained, new game assumedly from Igarashi, maker of Castlevania. I'm not really sold on the art style here, and the gameplay looked a little bit stilted, but people like Bloodstained, and I feel confident that this game is going to be at least solid. I don't know if I'm going to play it personally.
This was the first moment of the entire state of play that, and I really, there's going to be some moments that like we're going to talk about that are pretty great. This was the first moment, and it happens throughout this entire state of play, where I say, this is cool. I'm not sold. I don't want to play. I'm not immediately hooked in being like, I'm going to play this video game. And I feel like that is literally the rest of the state of play.
Really?
I think that this looks cool. But I'm not sure that I'm not like adding this to the company calendar being like, oh, like we got to get after
I
this.
understand what you're saying, but like I can also just still appreciate the fact that this is a big announcement.
Yeah, that's true.
And like is a known IP, and people are probably anticipating a sequel to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. So like maybe it's not for me, but I can also say that this is a win for this state of play, even though it's not something I'm going to play.
That's a good point, that there is a little bit of a win aspect when it comes to just IP and who's making it and stuff like that.
Similar to Digimon Story, I think this game looks really solid. I've not played the Digimon game, I don't think ever in my life, maybe when I was a kid. So I don't want to be a poser and just hop in randomly. But I definitely, I know this has an audience. So it's another win for the showcase.
Well, I think that this is where we get into that zone, man, of like, I really tried to take away from like, I try to look pretty objectively of like where the quality is in this, but the amount of games that I'm like, I'm not going to play. I also know that there's a lot of people out there with the same sentiment of, I'm not going to play. Like it's just not for me. And so I can see where some of the people that are coming in being like, this just isn't for me, because a lot of the games in this showcase just aren't for them.
Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. Think this looks great.
Yep.
It's exactly what it needs to be.
Yep.
Don't touch the art style very much. Keep the gameplay the same. Streamline things a little bit. I did notice that they have like a like chart for your jobs, which is a problem that I have with the War of the Lions version. Is like you don't really know when or how you're going to unlock a new job. Like I've had to look that up. So I like that kind of quality of life feature. But yeah, I think this is another big announcement. I do think that this game like doesn't really need this kind of update, but it's just about getting it on more consoles, making it more accessible.
We talk about it all the time of like when there's that new fix and everything, it is about, hey, I don't have a PS1 ready to go pull out, but I'm always going to have my PS5 plugged into my TV. There is so many people. This game, I know that we're talking about a PlayStation event. Please, the love of God and all that is holy, put this thing on Switch too. That's where I want to play it. You know, I want to be able to take that type of game on the go, put in 40 hours, almost like you with Celeste, be like, I want to beat that game in like 4 years. You know, like I'm not worried about that game right now, but I want to be able to put some time into it for sure and get some hype there for sure.
Next up, we have a rock block of Baby Steps, which I think looks like it is exactly what it needs to be. Who's the guy?
I don't know. I will say though,
Bennett Foddy. That's who it is. Yeah.
Big ups to them because they talked about this game being hysterical and the fact that you, me, and Brady. I mean, Brady's easy to make laugh, you know, but all of us were laughing. Like they made us laugh, and if that's a tough thing to do. That's not an easy swing, and so the fact that they were able to pull it off and be like, yeah, this is great. It's once again the big issue of I don't know if I'm playing this game. I'm not super interested in the gameplay. And at this point, we've had a couple games.
This is a stream for sure.
Oh, that is true. We could definitely have a very fun stream with it.
The Bennett Foddy games are perfect for those type of experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
Experiences. Hiragami, another Bandai Namco game, looks really interesting. I think this is what you are saying, a game that I don't know if I'm going to get to play, but I do think is a really interesting, weird title, different, something new, something different.
Reminds me of Path of the Goddess a little bit last year, where it is, and not in style or anything, obviously we're talking about a tower-based game versus a platformer or something, but it reminds me of like, there's going to be somebody from the Min-Max podcast that's like, it's my game of the year, it's great, and it's going to be like, awesome, I'm stoked for you. I'm probably not playing it, and that's why it's really hard to get excited about a game that I'm not playing. And I do also want to throw out there, you and I play a lot of video games, and so when we're not playing it, I understand the struggle for a lot of people being like, I only play 4, 5, 6 titles a year, and it's like, that game, I would be shocked if it really captures one of those type of gamers.
All right, we're gonna race through a few of these. Everybody's Golf, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, Cairn, Mortal Kombat Collection, MGS Delta. Just a lot of updates, giving us dates on when these games are coming out. All of them, I think, look great.
This is,
but I don't know if I'm gonna play all of them.
Where the showcase, in my opinion, did really well at being like, we're not going to waste your time. Yeah. Let's legitimately, like you said, do a rock block. Let's do the Nintendo Switch headlines moment of like, bang, bang, bang. And there is something there for everyone. I really do think that when we talk about that list of games, I'm excited about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I don't know if I'm going to play it because I think that it's coming out at that's late July actually, right? So there is a chance that we get to that one just due to scheduling and everything because August and September feel stacked at this point. But for me, Mortal Kombat Collection, I'm going to boot it up. I'm going to play a shit ton of it. It's going to be a stream. And then after we stream it and it's 10 p.m. and Connor and Brady leave, I'm going to go on Discord and I'm going to try to find someone to play some more Mortal Kombat with me. Like, that is the type of announcement that brings me back to a showcase that we're 25 minutes in, 30 minutes in. I'm like, all right, I'm starting to lose a little bit of momentum here.
Yeah, I feel like of those, Everybody's Golf is probably what I have the most likelihood to end up playing.
Yeah.
Maybe Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. It's just a matter of scheduling and everything and making sure that I have the time to play those.
Everybody's Golf will be really easy for you, me, and Brady to go to Dollar Tree, pick up some visors, and stream that fucking game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, big announcement here. Neo 3. I think people sleep on Neo, and the importance of this franchise. Like, alongside Dark Souls, this was like one of the first big Souls-like games. It had a little bit more action to it, but like a challenging action game coming off of the heels of Dark Souls 2 and 3. I was in my sophomore year when Neo 1 came out, I think. So yeah, after Dark Souls 3. So like it's some people's preferred Souls-like experience.
Yeah.
And to get another sequel to it, I think is really awesome. This is going to be somebody's game of the year for next year. If it lives up to its predecessors, like, people love this shit. And I have always wanted to get into the Neo franchise. I've heard great things. I've played the first one for, I think it was like 5 or 6 hours, so like barely scratching the surface of it, and would love to get back to it. So I think this game looks great. Yeah. I loved how it looked in the trailer too. So
I do think that it was a very impressive trailer. Like, that's a big part of this that I'm like, yep, they did a dang good job of showing up, showing out, and presenting something that's actually really exciting.
Next up, we have the Thief VR game. Out of nowhere, Thief returns. They tried to bring this back at the start of the PS4, Xbox One generation. I don't think it's sold very well. PlayStation will not let PSVR 2 die, but they are trying their damnedest to just kind of like push it to the side.
This is one of those that I really think could have been a blog post and to have almost done better. Like, it could have owned a moment for the people that are still excited about Thief and PlayStation VR, but going and being like, hey, I don't know how many viewers this had, but viewers, try to get excited about this. It's like, I don't know who this is hitting for. That would not hear about it in... Like, if you're a Thief fan and you post this on the PlayStation blog, you're going to hear about it. If you're a PSVR fan and you post this on the PlayStation blog, you're going to hear about it. You don't need to sell us on
They're
this.
trying to sell PSVR 2 still.
They
have a warehouse full of them, and they're like, we got to get the remainders out, and we have a few games that we can use to push them.
Yeah.
So this is one of them. Thief is a name. You know what I mean?
I know. But
it's like the Alien game or the Metro game. It's important to have these IPs for your VR console.
Totally. I just didn't need it in this showcase. And I think that most people would say this detracted from the showcase having a VR title show up in the middle of it.
Ties of Tomorrow. I don't remember what that one looks like. That's the next game up here.
I think that it rolls straight into the trailer too.
Oh, this is the Road 96 game. Yeah, this game's interesting. I need to understand more about like the moment to moment, how the multiplayer aspects work, but it looks like it's trying to do something really different, and I appreciate that.
This game would have done so much better for me if it was at a Keighley show and they were able to talk through what the gameplay is and really show what you're actually doing. Because as right now, the thing that I'm falling in love with here is the art style. But like the concept seems so bold to go and give me a flashy trailer to announce it. I'm like, what's even happening? And I brought up Deathloop. That was the same way that the first Deathloop trailer worked for me, where I was like, this looks cool. This looks interesting. I don't know exactly what the fuck's happening. And then 2-3 trailers down the line, I got sold on a title like that. Currently, looks really cool. I don't think that this was the best way to show this game. And that's another reason why I'm like, we lost a little bit of that momentum that I feel like we had at the start. Neo 3 was a good pick back up, by the way. I felt like that was not discussed nearly enough of just like, and it's not being discussed enough right now from the people that are saying that this showcase is like for no one. It's like, that's a huge game.
And then we come back with Astrobot DLC right after this.
Yeah.
Did they give a date for that?
They said this summer.
Okay,
I believe. Yeah.
I hate the way that they have trickled out this DLC personally. I would have much preferred them to just have one big pack and charge for it.
Yep.
personally. I understand that it's good that it's free, and they want to keep this game in the conversation, and that's a good way to do it. But I wanted a more robust experience, not these like short little challenge levels or speedrun levels. I wanted a full-fledged world similar to what we got throughout the regular Astrobot game.
Yeah.
So not my preference, but
I will say, Connor, you got a lot of content still to go back to at this point, though.
They've kind of, since I've let it build up, I feel a little bit better about it. But at the same time, it's still not. We got the one Christmas level, which is what I'm talking about. I would have rather them have 5 of those rather than 10 of the speedrun levels.
I mean, the Christmas level is longer than any other Astrobot level, though. You know, so actually 5 of them. Yeah,
so you do 5 and you give 10, 15, $20 for it. Like I think that makes sense.
Yeah. For sure.
And then we have, it was Sea and Remnants, the Journey type game, Giant Squid. I don't know. I think this game looks cool, but at the same time, I feel like like I said during the reactions, I've experienced Journey. I know what this kind of experience looks like, feels like. I don't really need to do it again. I do think it has a cool twist with like the movement and everything. But I felt similarly about like Abzu, where it's like I get it. Yep. I don't really need to do this.
I feel the same way, but I will say might be another one of those things where people have heard about Journey, they've never played Journey,
right? And
so this is the one that they hop in on. For me, not for me, you know.
Yeah. Next up, we have Sword of the Sea. I don't fully understand what this game is.
Yeah,
but I'm intrigued. I think this is just total TBD on whether or not this is going to be something that resonates with the broad public. If it resonates with me.
Wait, no, Sword of the Sea is that game.
Yep. And then next up is
what's Sea of Remnants?
Oh, maybe that. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right.
Sea of Remnants is the pirate game.
The pirate game before that. Sorry, my bad.
Pirate game. Here's the thing, and we talked about it a little bit. I like pirate games. I think pirate games are really cool. I want to be a pirate. This game didn't sell me on being a pirate. Like, I don't know what this game really is. And it's interesting. It's on my radar now. This was not the showing that sold me on it. Yeah. And I feel like that is the big flaw in a lot of these trailers thus far, where it's like, you are officially on my radar, but you are not oh shit, I got to play that now day one, you know? And there's very few of those in this showcase.
So we got some PS Plus stuff after this, FPC Firebreak, PlayStation Classics being added. Great, good stuff. More updates. 007 First Light. You said you're really in on this?
Yeah, this is one of those. I'm not saying that this is going to be a 9 out of 10 amazing, a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I want an 8 out of 10 really fucking fun James Bond game. And I trust the team over at IOI to give me exactly that. And seeing that trailer, I really trust IOI to deliver the fucking goods.
If it wasn't IOI, I don't know if I would trust it.
Yeah.
But I'm not in yet. I think it looks good. But I don't know if I'm like really sold yet from what we saw.
I am like, I think that this trailer, if it wasn't James Bond and if it wasn't IOI, I would have a way more question marks.
Exactly.
But guess what? It's James Bond and it's IOI. So that's the thing. Where it's like, we can say ifs and buts all we want, but the fact is, that's a James Bond trailer being developed by one of the best in the biz when it comes to stealth gameplay. And it's like
but it's not stealth. It's a full action game. It looks like
the action set pieces. There will be stealth in this game a little bit, I do assume. Yeah. I don't think that it's going to be Hitman though, and I don't think that I want to play Hitman. I want to play Hitman, but I'm not looking for this experience to be Hitman. I am looking forward to a high octane action adventure spy game, dude, and like. I was really trying to struggle to think about this. When was the last time we got that? Like, where it is a big budget, AAA, Uncharted type of experience. We haven't had a Tomb Raider in a minute. Indiana Jones is a first-person title that it like did a great game, but it wasn't. It was a lot more puzzle solving, and it wasn't like you're running and gunning. This is running and gunning, cover shooting. Punching somebody over a rail side. Like, that's, I'm really excited for that. And I felt like in the 2013 to 2018 with the Tomb Raider reboots and with the amount of Uncharted we were getting, and it was like, okay, we can take a break, everyone. Mm. It's been a while.
I need to see this game in motion without cutting.
And we're going to get that later this week.
That's what will sell me, I think. And and firm up my excitement for this game. But I think this is a rock solid trailer. Cool that it's here. A big get for PlayStation to have it at their state of play. So yeah,
for sure.
Go see Otay, a little snippet. I'm glad that this wasn't how they ended it.
Totally.
If the trailer had gone on and there was just like a full like gameplay section, I would have been disappointed just because I don't really want to see anything more of that game. So that was cool that they like gave me the out to be like, okay, you don't have to see anything else.
Yeah. And cool. I generally think that that's one of those that I'm going to react to. State of play. Hopefully it's not while we're away, because they said July and we're away for a week in July. But I kind of wish, and I know that they got to show some major first party, and that is the major first party. Like, hey, we still got the goods. Just a reminder for or what we're doing with Sony Studios right now. But like, that also could have been, hey, we announced this 2 weeks beforehand on PlayStation blog. If you're excited about it, which you should be. I'm not upset about it though. They love doing stuff like that. It works well for these types of showcases. I want to call out Big Mac's chat. Thanks for all the people that are still watching us live right now. Go silent or go loud, whether fighting with fists or firepower, using gadgets to infiltrate, or bluffing your way past guards. The approach is up to you. I believe that is a quote for 007.
Sounds very Hitman.
Yeah, but that sounds Hitman, but also like, it isn't Hitman. You really got to go silent. For me, I like the idea. We talk about it all the time. What do you do in Uncharted? Are you a fan of taking out people and going silent? No, I want to flying punch somebody in the throat, Connor.
It looked very loud to me, not silence in that trailer.
But the fact that you could go silent, it makes me think that this team's going to rely on their past experience with Hitman and be like, yeah, rock and roll. We got this. And so do what you do best. And I think that they're going to do it really well.
And then Marvel's Tokon Fighting Souls at the end, Arc System Works fighting game. Cannot underestimate the severity of this announcement and how big of a deal this is. This game is going to be fucking huge. Guilty Gear is big. People fucking love that game, Guilty Gear Strive. Arc System Works considered one of, if not the best fighting game developers going today. This game is going to be huge. Not my thing, but I have always said if I were to get into a fighting game, it would be Guilty Gear because I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And the art style in this I think is gorgeous. You want to pull up the trailer real fast?
For sure.
I think the art style in this is amazing. I like how they said that they were able to put their own little spin on all the characters and give them like a really distinct look. And you can see it immediately here. I do think that they kind of teased us a little bit with like maybe it's a Marvel vs. Capcom game at the end, talking about like a partner and everything. I was like, oh, maybe they partner with Capcom to do this, and they're bringing back Marvel vs. Capcom. I do not think it's necessary to do that.
Same.
You know what I mean? I think you can just have a straight up Marvel game. Marvel, when it comes to the movie slate, not doing the best right now.
Yeah.
But Marvel Rivals. Cooking, like people fucking love that
Marvel shit. As an IP when it comes to video games, and the fact that we're looking forward to Blade and we're looking forward to Spider-Man 3 potentially and Wolverine and all this stuff, they've been killing the video game market for quite some time here.
Yeah. So I think that I want to try this and I want to see how this all turns out next year. Is it a PlayStation exclusive? Do we know that?
Yeah, can we get some stuff there? Do we see do you think there is Marvel fatigue happening? No. Marvel fatigue is a constant state at this point. So like it's you either are still on this train, and the answer is a lot of people are still on the train. Marvel Rivals proves that there's not actual Marvel fatigue.
There is Marvel movie fatigue for
That's
sure.
True. But Marvel movie
I think
fatigue,
that people like superheroes in general, and that will fluctuate in how much people are willing to go out of their way to watch superhero movies, play superhero games throughout the years. It always has.
Yeah.
And I think it'll continue to go up and down.
You cannot overestimate
PS5, Steam, and Epic. Yep.
You
PS5
cannot
exclusive.
overestimate a Marvel fighting game by Arc System Works.
Underestimate.
What did I say?
Overestimate.
Oh, yeah. You can't underestimate it. No, this is as big as it gets from a fighting game standpoint. That I am so excited to watch all the fighting game YouTubers legitimately lose their fucking minds. In the same way, for me, of like, this is the doorway. Could you imagine the people that are already huge MVC2 fans, MVC3 fans that are huge fighting game fans, huge Guilty Gear fans. Like, are you kidding me right now? I know that this isn't for everyone, and we talked about the fact that this isn't for everyone, but for the people that this is for, this is the biggest announcement humanly possible. This is Marvel vs. Capcom 4 level. I could argue that it's bigger than Marvel vs. Capcom 4 because you know that it's also going to be made by the best in the biz. There is nobody that is doing it as well as Arc System Works. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to get really excited. I know it's not for everyone. It is for me. And I do give you and Brady some props to just let me be really excited. Because, man, oh, man, I knew that in my heart of hearts, that Brady was over there melting like an ice cream cone, being like, please don't let this be the last thing, you know, like, because it's just not for him. And also for you to some level, being like, please don't let this be the last thing. Give me one more Sony logo. And I know the hundreds of thousands of people watching this state of play, they're going, please don't let this be the last thing. And I get that. I do. And I feel for that to some level, because there are things that have ended showcases that aren't for me. But goddamn, this is one that is for me. It reminds me of when they opened with Tekken 8, and people are like, really? Tekken 8's how you're opening a state of play and everything? It's like, yeah, it's fucking Tekken 8. Yeah. Like, that's fucking huge for a group of people. This is much bigger than Tekken 8 because it's Marvel teaming up with one of the best in the biz. And so, yeah, I think, and the fact that Sony's going to be seemingly like pushing this game and everything, this is Sony's fighting game at this point. They love obviously partnering up with Tekken and what that team does, but like, it seems like this is a major push and a major promise to the audience being like, yeah, we got the goods.
Yeah. If you like that and you want to see more of our stuff, go check out the Patreon where you can support this channel. It's the best way to help us out and see us grow. And you get exclusive TikToks and podcasts over there. Let us know what you thought of the State of Play for June 2025. Thank you so much for watching and breaking this all down with us. Really appreciate you watching along for the reactions and enjoying this breakdown. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.